Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. So glad to have you with us. We got a loaded show on tap today. We're going to talk about a potential trade for Tyreek Hill in our first segment. Then we'll shift gears. I got some good and bad news to get to on Matt Nagy and Steve Spagnuolo. And in our third segment, we will project the Chiefs' starting lineup for Week 1 against the Los Angeles Chargers. And then we'll wrap up our final segment with a Q&A rumors mailbag. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's program. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling today. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas on this very fine Tuesday. And we appreciate y'all being here with us. It is a week to celebrate America, the greatest country on the face of the earth. As text tells me, it is the 249th Independence Day coming up on Friday. And I love America. I can tell you that much. America is such a fantastic place, and hopefully you guys are having a great 4th of July week. Rex, what are you already hating on in the chat, man? Good grief. The show's just started, my guy. Good grief. Goodness, man. What are we doing? Where are we at, everybody? Let me know in the chat. I got Matt in Knoxville, Tennessee. I got Mark in Paragould, Arkansas. I will be in Arkansas this weekend, Mark. I will be in Little Rock on Friday for the 4th of July. Going with some family, visiting my sister who's there right now. So that's where I will be, not too far down the road from you. I got Paul in Tonganoxie. We got Jaquise Jones in Houston. I got Tony in San Antonio. Buddy is in Jefferson City, Missouri. Where else are we watching from, everybody? Let us know in the chat. And Tony's already got workout questions for Big Tex. He wants to know, can I do yoga before my workout or after? Okay. The correct answer is don't do yoga in my book. We'll see what Big Tex has to say about that in a moment. A little quiz for the Chiefs Kingdom here. How many Chiefs all-time wide receivers can you name? And here are my stipulations, folks. It has to be somebody that's been on the active 53-man roster. And I will give you one. I will give you Rashee Rice. So everybody in their individual comment needs to come up with as many Chiefs wide receivers as they can to test your ball knowledge. And every single one of you should have Rashee Rice. So that's at least one right there. And then let's see who can come up with the most. How many Chiefs all-time wide receivers can you name? Big Tex is here with me. I'll bring him in right now to today's show. Tex, how many do you think you could probably come up with without giving away any names? I'll put a number on.
Probably minimum. Wait, can they be currently on the roster? Okay. That helps. I could probably do 5 or 6, like off the top of my head right now, minimum, I think.
Like John just named Dante Hall. John, why didn't you include Rashee Rice? I gave you one. You're supposed to come up with the most in your own individual comment. I literally gave you one. Same with Tony that put in Derek. I gave you Rashee Rice. Come on now. How many can you come up with? I'm not making this difficult. I'm literally helping you out here, folks. I gave you a name, Rashee Rice. In fact, I'll make it even easier. Tex, give them the name of your favorite.
Xavier Worthy! Touchdown, Kansas City!
Hopefully we're hearing that a lot this year.
I wish Gus was calling those games, but yes, agreed. That's a free one.
That's a free one. So there's 2. Everybody should have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. That's 2 right there. Let's see who can come up with the most. Matt checking in from Knoxville. I got a funny story while we wait on these answers here. Well, it's actually not that funny, but so Tex, this girl I dated in college. I just found out this week. She lives in Knoxville.
Okay.
We still follow each other on social media.
Oh, nice.
And I just found out that she got divorced.
Oh.
So here I am. I'm 29, living my best life, and my college exes are already getting divorced here.
Are you you plotting and scheming anything?
I'm not ruling it out. You never know.
That's right. You got to be on your toes.
You got to keep your options open.
That's right. Keep those nets open. Cast those nets wide in the sea of fish.
I don't know. I don't think I want to be living in Knoxville though. So
Knoxville it's a lot different than Dallas.
That'd be a bit of a deal breaker.
You're not a big Knoxville guy?
So I might be giving away too much information here, but we've already reached this point. So, her family owns a furniture store.
Okay.
And she is destined to eventually become the owner of said furniture store.
Oh.
So if I were to go out with her again and get serious, that would be my destiny, essentially.
Is to work next to her at a furniture store?
And eventually own it. It would be a nice payout, but I'm like, I'm not trying to give up my career to go live in Knoxville and work in furniture.
I was going to say, like, you work in sports media and you have higher aspirations. No offense to her. I'm sure the money's good, but, like, you would be pretty miserable, like, putting, like, sofa cushions onto, like, a couch and, like, scooching beds into place, like, all day. Even if it was for a lot of money, that would get old really quick.
Yeah, so
maybe stay away.
Yeah, Matt, it is the biggest furniture store in Knoxville. You probably know what I'm talking about. But it sounds funny, but, like, it's sad, too. I feel for her, but
yeah, no doubt.
It does make me, like, take a few steps back, like, oh, wow, I am getting older now. Like, my college exes are already getting married and divorced.
Well, how long were they married for?
About 4 years.
That's not a long time.
No.
Turns out the divorce rate is, like, 50%, and if she gets remarried, it goes up to, like, 70 or 75% or 80% almost, so
yeah, of
the potential to divorce again.
Yeah. So I probably made myself look like too much of an asshole already. But
not an asshole for pointing it out, but definitely maybe
it's probably not where you thought I was going with this.
No, and maybe a little too soon. Let her work through that grief before you even consider the possibility of, like, reaching out to her about that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. All right, back to the question. How many Chiefs all-time wide receivers can you name? Matt, I think he just ignored my entire Knoxville story there because he's just showing ball answers there. Dante Hall, Tyreek Hill, Dwayne Bowe, Albert Wilson, Byron Pringle, Rashee Rice, Nicole. I gave you Xavier Worthy, and you left him out. That was 7, though. Rex with Hall, Bowe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Rex has got the most so far. And Rex came in throwing some shade to start today. Hopefully he's calmed down a little bit. We're here to have a good time, Rex. We don't take ourselves too seriously, man. Let's just have a good time today. I don't feel like I'm asking too much. But Rex has got the number of 8. He's got 11 so far. Let's see if somebody can come up with more in their answer there. All right. I already have 46 people in the building, but I would love more people to join us and be along for the ride today. So we need to wake up the algorithm a bit and let people know that we are here and that we are live here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. So I need everybody over this next minute to spam C as much as possible. And Big Tex is going to shout you out. I want to see as many C's as we can. And we're going to find out who's going to be the early favorite to be the MVP on today's show. And Tex will show you guys some love. So without further ado, go ahead and start spamming C. I'll throw some C's in the chat right now, too. And let's have ourselves a day. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Start spamming C.
Tony. What's up, Tony? Talk about the yoga in a bit. JD. Tony. JD. Paul. What's up, Paul? How we doing, brother? JD. Tony. JD. Paul. I only see Paul, JD, and Tony. Let's get some more names in there. Come on. Spam C. There we go, Doc. What's up, my man? Doc Plethorma Not. I definitely said that wrong. Rex. Paul. Tony. Paul. Tony. Keep going. I only see Tony. Don't let Tony be the only one. Brian. There we go. New names. Paul. Tony. Keep going. Paul. Big Tex is here giving shout-outs. Keep going. I didn't say stop. Tony. Paul. JD. Paul. Tony. JD. Paul. JD. Is that a Roblox character? Tony. Matthew. Great name. Rex. JD. Mark. JD. Paul. Tony. JD. Paul. JD. Tony. JD. Paul. Matthew. Great name. JD. Tony. Paul. Let's get some new names in there. Matthew. Great name, but new names. Mark. There we go. Paul. Richard. Tony. Rex. Matthew. Richard. Matthew. Rex. Tony. Richard. JD. A few more seconds. Keep finish strong. Richard. JD, Tony, JD, Richard, Lonnie,
5 more seconds.
Richard, JD, Tony, Hakiemo, Paul, Richard.
There we go.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all for your help and making that happen today. All right. Let's see. Tex, you need some help, I hear. Our final segment today is our mailbag, and we do this each and every week. And Tex will give you instructions on how to get involved in said mailbag. But let me tell you this, folks. We got a lot of stuff to do around here, and I do not want to be waiting around on mailbag questions today. So please, for the love of God, get your questions in as quickly as possible. That way we can get to the mailbag quicker and get through the rest of today's live show. Tex, how can people get involved in the mailbag?
Phenomenal question. So, I feel like I answer this every week, but we need to because we have new people. We have, some people that might be a little forgetful. That's okay, though. If you have a question about the Kansas City Chiefs as it pertains to the team, trades, free agency, the roster, the coordinators, maybe you want to talk about Matt Nagy or Steve Spagnuolo like we're going to on the show today, and you have a question that comes to mind maybe in one of the other segments, and keep it in mind. If you do, ask your question using hashtag Chiefs, a space, and then your question. Or, crazy enough, you can ask your question first, and then you put a space, and then hashtag Chiefs together, and it works the exact same way. The critical thing is your question is separate from hashtag Chiefs. The hashtag Chiefs together, a space, and then your question.
Just like how Tony put his in.
Great job, Tony. Look at Tony's example. Tony's leading by example with his Chiefs, his hashtag Chiefs example. And the same thing with Paul. There you go. Not really a question, Paul.
Yeah,
let's get a
question,
Paul. But good idea with the hashtag Chiefs using that there. But get his question, Paul. I know you got a good one in there.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Get your questions in. The more the merrier. And we don't have to wait. Yes, Tex.
If you super chat, I forgot to mention, if you super chat, you get priority on the mailbag and you start at the beginning of the show. So if you have a question that you really want answered, super chat any amount, put your question in the super chat and send it in right before we start or anytime during the show before we start the mailbag, and we'll prioritize it. Thank you.
There you go. He said please and thank you. So help us out. Like Matthew, use hashtag Chiefs. Text literally just told you what to do. You got a question in there, use hashtag Chiefs or super chat. We'll include it in the mailbag coming up later on. All right, I have a cold can of beer here. What do I got today? I got a Shiner. Nothing's finer than a Shiner. I will crack open a nice cold can of beer when we reach 40 likes on today's program. We're at 30 right now, so I need 10 more. And then I'll crack open the beer, and we can get today's show started, my friends. So hit that like button. When you hit the like button, type me in the chat. We'll shout you out. Show you some love for hitting the like button. As our old friend Smitty likes to say, it's just the right thing to do. When you enter somebody's home, like taking your shoes off, you hit the like button. When you enter our extravaganza here in the Kansas City Chiefs Report. By the way, Tex, back to Tony's question that he had for you. Yoga before or after a workout, good or bad idea?
Well, it kind of ties back into the thing we talked about a while ago, Tony, which was static stretching before. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I would say if you're going to do yoga, do it after your workouts and try to do it a decent amount of time after because it involves a lot of pretty strenuous stretching that you're probably not used to and you could tear a ligament. So no joke, don't do it right before and definitely don't do it right after. Spread it out and do it later in the evening or on another day where you're not doing heavy weightlifting. There you go, Tony.
There you go, Tony.
Now you know.
Now you know. Paul liked the video. Tony, Bill, I need 3 more, then we can start today's show. 3 more, and then we can get this show started here today, and I can crack open this beer. So please, by all means, help us out. Hit that like button. 1 more, and we'll be good to go. Mark liked the video as well. Type me in the chat when you like the video. There we go. 41 likes. Cheers, everybody. Let's have ourselves a day. Go Chiefs. Lonnie and Richard also liking the video as well. Super chat menu if you'd like to get involved in today's program. You'll get priority in the mailbag segment as well. First time super chatters get the KC chant. $5 give you a beer cheers. $10 take some shots. $20 get bean boozled. And $50 we will do a beer bong. Yes. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's tell you what's ahead here on this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Coming up in our opening segment, could the Chiefs trade for Tyreek Hill? We have some news and rumors to get to on that front. We also have some good and bad news to get to in our second segment revolving Steve Spagnuolo and Matt Nagy. We will give you our projection of the Chiefs starting lineup for week 1 against the LA Chargers. And then we will answer your Q&A, rumors, mailbag questions as well in our final segment. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. That is what's ahead. Appreciate y'all being here with us. And thanks for hanging out here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Yes, Tex. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, good looks. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report here on this Tuesday afternoon. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Thanks for hanging out here with us. Segment numero uno begins on El Chiefs Report starting right now. I have good news, Chiefs Kingdom. We did a like battle for the entire month of June between our fellow AFC West channels, and I'm pleased to report, by the hairs on my chinny chin chin, we're able to win the like battle with 2,069 likes. Broncos Breakdown 2,064. Raiders Report with 2,055. Great work, everybody. Thanks for holding things up and doing your part in proving me right when I said that you guys were up for the challenge, that you were going to take down the Raiders and Broncos and prove why we have the best fans in the AFC West and across the National Football League. Folks, let's run up the score a little bit. Like the video. Let's keep it going. All right, let's not slow down. Now is not the time to back down by any stretch of the imagination. Hit that like button. We'll get started with this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Could Tyreek Hill make a return to the Kansas City Chiefs? Welcome in to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We got some new rumors to get to on the potential return of the Cheetah to the place he once called home, Kansas City. The Miami Dolphins earlier this week traded away corner Jalen Ramsey, and there's been a lot of discussions over the last couple of months about the Dolphins moving on for both Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. And so now that they've moved on from Ramsey, is Tyreek Hill next? He has made it known he has not been happy. He has talked about being traded in the past. Could this be a possibility now that the Dolphins move on from him and potentially send him back to Kansas City? Well, here was Tyreek Hill's reaction on X to the news that the NFL put out that the Dolphins were finalizing a trade involving Jalen Ramsey, and he posted a meme. It was a GIF from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air of the house just being empty all of a sudden. Is that Carlton? I'm not sure exactly. I haven't watched much of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, to be honest with you, but you get the idea. He's like, where did everybody go? Things are changing around here. Well, people are talking now about a potential trade and the possibility of Tyreek Hill heading back home to Kansas City. DraftKings Sportsbook tweeting out, time to go back where it all started, along with this photo of Tyreek Hill in a Chiefs uniform. Is it possible that Tyreek could come back to Kansas City? Well, let's be clear. Tyreek isn't happy with his situation in Miami. And I'll be honest, he's got no one to blame but himself for this. He could have stayed with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he wanted to get paid, and he went to Miami, got some sun, had a few kids, enjoyed life out there, and he's been cashing those paychecks. He's been enjoying living in a state with no income tax and all that, but he's got no playoff wins to show for it. Meanwhile, the Chiefs have been to 3 straight Super Bowls, and they've won 2 of them without him. I think for Tyreek, Kansas City's always going to be home. One day he's going to be in the Ring of Honor. I think that he is still well-liked, and respected. I know that he said some things that kind of rub people the wrong way, but I think he will always be one of us no matter what. I think it isn't impossible, the idea of Tyreek coming back to Kansas City. But at this point in time, it would seem that it is highly unlikely that it is going to occur. Now, here's how it could potentially happen. I know that Kansas City doesn't have a ton of cash to spend, but if they want Tyreek Hill, they can make it work. Let me explain why. The Dolphins will pay Tyreek Hill a $1 million roster bonus. Then, if he were to be traded, a new team would then take on a $15.85 million roster bonus. Hill would have about $10 million in base salary, and he would also get a $1.8 million in potential per game roster bonus for 2025, and there is no guaranteed money beyond 2025. So essentially, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you could rework his deal to make this work for you and bring Tyreek Hill back home to Kansas City if you decide to go that route. Now, what would it take? What type of player are you potentially getting? We'll discuss that here in a moment. But first, let's ask you, should the Chiefs bring home Tyreek Hill? Type T for trade, P for pass. Way in the comments section, tell us if you think the Chiefs should bring back Tyreek Hill or not. Folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, the most interactive Chiefs channel around, as we're bringing you our daily news and rumors. We have live shows each and every Tuesday, breaking news. If there's a trade for Tyreek, I don't care where I'm at in the world. We're going live here on the channel, folks, to react to it. We got it all covered here at the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We're bringing you sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day on the channel. You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed. I want at least 20 new subs off today's video. Best part about it, it doesn't cost you a thing. 100% free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Subscribe now. Join the family. You'll be glad you did. The resume for Tyreek Hill is outstanding. He will be in Canton someday as a first-ballot Hall of Famer, an 8-time Pro Bowler, a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He led the NFL in receiving yards. He was the co-leader in receiving touchdowns in 2023, won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, and was also named to the NFL's 2010s All-Decades team. Now, this past season was a bit of a down year for Tyreek Hill. He wasn't what he used to be, but even with that said, Tyreek Hill is still great, and he still has plenty left to offer for the Kansas City Chiefs, or any team for that matter, if he were to move on and play elsewhere outside of the Miami Dolphins. You look at his statistics, that 2023 season was off the charts. Nearly 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns. Last year, he played in all 17 games, but his numbers were down quite a bit as he was limited to 81 catches, 959 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But I do think you have to take into account that Tua missed a lot of time last year. The quarterback play when Tua was out was not very good at all for the Miami Dolphins, so that kind of hurt Tyreek Hill's numbers quite a bit in 2024. The other thing with Tyreek Hill is the ability to open up this offense. Granted, things have worked out pretty good for the Kansas City Chiefs without Tyreek Hill since his departure. But the offense has been totally different without Tyreek Hill. They have basically moved on from the deep passing game. They are not stretching the field vertically even close to the same way that they were before. And it's because of 2 reasons. One, they don't have a receiver like Tyreek Hill in what he offers. But 2, we've seen that more defenses are playing 2 and 3 high safety looks and trying to avoid getting beat downfield by Patrick Mahomes in that deep passing threat. We've heard Patrick Mahomes himself say, hey, I want to open up the passing game again. I want us to be more explosive. And if you want to do that, there's no better way to do that than bringing back a guy like Tyreek Hill, run the wasp play and all that stuff again. It would be fantastic if they could potentially make it happen. What's your favorite memory of Tyreek Hill and his time in Kansas City? For me, it's got to be the wasp play. That was unbelievable in that Super Bowl against the Niners many years ago. That's my favorite memory. What is your favorite memory from Tyreek Hill's time in Kansas City? Way in the comment section, let us know. Patrick Mahomes jerseys are on sale now with free shipping, my friends. Chatsports.com/Mahomes is where you can get these jerseys. We have men's and women's, also kids options available, all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and a variety of jerseys to choose from. The home, the away, got some Super Bowl patches. We got something for everybody. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/Mahomes is where you can get yours today. Free shipping available. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Mahomes to get yours now. So another thing with Tyreek Hill, with him being older and with the money that he's been paid, his trade value has gone down significantly from what it was when Kansas City initially traded him to the Miami Dolphins. Right now, you're looking at Tyreek Hill being worth about a 2026 third-round pick. And if you're the Chiefs, man, that might be something where you're saying to yourselves, we get one of the best players in football that's going to change our offense completely, and all we have to give up is a third-round pick. That would certainly be tempting. With that said, though, even Tyreek Hill, is a luxury. All right? It is not something that you have to do. I think we look at some of these situations of trades or free agent signings across the NFL, and we're saying, hey, this has to happen for this team. They need to go make this deal and get it done. This is not something the Chiefs have to do by any stretch of the imagination. They have been fine without him over the last few seasons, even as they've adjusted this offense. Would he make this offense better? Of course, Tyreek Hill would. Absolutely. It would make this offense unstoppable. But even with that said, I think this wide receiver group that the Kansas City Chiefs have is just fine. And they might even have the options internally to be able to get back to the passing game that they want to see. Xavier Worthy coming off a strong second half of the season. Hollywood Brown is fully healthy now. Rashee Rice also fully healthy. He was looking like a top 10 receiver before he got hurt last year. You bring in the rookie Jalen Royals. You still got Juju Smith-Schuster here. And I'm just expecting big things out of Rashee Rice. Is Rashee Rice Tyreek Hill? Hell no, he's not. I don't think we'll ever live in a world where Rashee Rice is as good as Tyreek Hill. But that's okay. They're totally two different types of receivers. But even with that said, I think with Worthy and along with Hollywood and even Jalen Royals, you have opportunities potentially to stretch the field. Will it be as effective as the Tyreek Hill days? Probably not. But I think that this receiving core is the best it's been since Tyreek left. Who is going to be the Chiefs' leading receiver this season? Will it be Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, or Travis Kelce? Type RR for Rashee Rice, type XW for Xavier Worthy, type TK for Travis Kelce. Or in the comments section, let us know what you think. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. If you enjoyed today's show, you want to run up the score a little bit, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for stopping by and joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We will see you next time. All right. 1 down, 3 to go. Should the Chiefs trade for Tyreek Hill? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in the comments section and let us know. It's our poll question right now as well. 63% of you going yes, 37% going no on this idea. I see Tony is saying pass. Paul says trade for him. Desmond says trade for him. Bill says trade for him. Dylan says trade for him. Lonnie says trade for him. So the vast majority of you saying trade for him there with your thoughts on this. Tony says if they had more money. That's fair. That's fair, too. Get your opinions in now. Let us know if the Chiefs should trade for Tyreek Hill or not. T for trade, P for pass. Super Chat menu, if you'd like to get involved in today's show. First time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5, we'll do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, get bean boozled. $50, we will do a beer bong. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute and be on today's program. And we would love to hear from you guys and get involved, get active, and let's have ourselves a fantastic day today, my friends. Appreciate you guys for doing that. Also, mailbag coming up later. Keep getting your questions in using hashtag Chiefs or super chatting to get on the mailbag portion of the show. The more questions, the merrier. We would appreciate if you guys were able to do so and send in those questions, and we'll answer those in our final segment. Get those questions in now. Hashtag Chiefs or super chat, and we would appreciate it. Up next, we got good news and bad news for your Kansas City Chiefs. We will explain what that is and more coming up in our second segment. Third segment, we'll project the Chiefs starting lineup for Week 1 against the LA Chargers, and then we'll wrap up. Our final segment will be a Q&A rumors mailbag. We'll answer all of your questions coming up at the end of today's show. So without further ado, let's get started with our second segment, good and bad news for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll adjust my headset accordingly, and we will be good to go. Here we go, folks. Second segment starts right now. We got some good news and some bad news to get to for your Kansas City Chiefs here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. Before we tell you what is going on, folks, I got a challenge. Broncos Breakdown. They got a new host over there. His name is Trace Moustakis. Moose, they call him for short. Good guy. I've shared a beverage or two with him from time to time. But my friend is my enemy. And he has been picking up a hell ton of subscribers over there at Broncos Breakdown. And he was telling me, he's like, Tyler, no way you guys can hang with us and grow at the rate we're growing at right now. And I said, that won't be a problem. Chiefs Kingdom, you guys, you know what we're all about. You got to be subscribed to the channel. I need at least 50 subs off today's video. Moose doesn't think we can do it. Prove him wrong. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the good news, starting with offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. The good news on Matt Nagy is, according to Bleacher Report, he has been named to their list of most likely coordinators to get a head coaching job after this season. Let's listen in, and then I'll explain more why this is good news. Mo Motton writing this. As a potential retread, Nagy's resume is decent, considering the Bears went 12-4 in 2018, and Mitchell Trubisky was named the NFC Pro Bowl roster in his best years of pro under him. If Nagy sets himself up with a team that has a high-ceiling quarterback, he could be a successful head coach. This year, Nagy interviewed for the New York Jets head coaching job. His interview request list could be a lot longer in 2026. All right, here's why this is good news, folks. Matt Nagy, I think personally, has overstayed his welcome here in Kansas City. All right? If it were up to me, Matt Nagy would have been gone a long time ago. And here's what I mean by this, folks. Matt Nagy, he adds absolutely nothing to this offense. And since Matt Nagy's been offensive coordinator here in Kansas City, this offense has gotten significantly worse. And I understand Andy is the main play caller, but a lot of the game planning and the identity of what the Chiefs' offense is goes back to their offensive coordinator in Matt Nagy. And I think that this team can do a lot better with their offensive coordinator role with somebody else than they could with Matt Nagy. So if somebody out there wants to call up Matt Nagy and make him their next head coach, by all means, take him. He's yours. Get him the hell out of here. All right? I never thought I'd be missing Eric Bieniemy, but here we are. And Bieniemy kind of got exposed the last couple of years. I mean, Matt Nagy, if he wants to leave, I think that would be addition by subtraction for Kansas City, on all honesty. And if you need some numbers to back this up, what I'm talking about, let's take a look at last year's Chiefs offensive rankings. The Chiefs were 12th in the NFL in points per game at 23.1 points per game. That was not where they should have been. Numbers get a little worse, though. Yards per game, 19th in the NFL, 322 yards per game. Yards per play, 22nd, 5.1 yards per play last year. Red zone scoring touchdown percentage, 21st in the NFL, with having the most talented quarterback in the history of football, Patrick Mahomes. They could only score touchdowns in the red zone 54.5% of the time. And then touchdowns per game, they were 11th in the league at 2.6. So you're telling me that with all these weapons that Matt Nagy had to his disposal, he could not have a top 10 offense. This is not up to the Chiefs' standard. This is not what we expect. And Matt Nagy, I think, is the number one reason to blame. And here's the truth of the matter here, folks. Andy is a loyal guy. I love Andy Reid. Andy's done a phenomenal job. There's not a head coach I'd rather have in this league than Andy Reid. But because of Andy's loyalty, he is not going to fire Matt Nagy, no matter how bad things get. The only way that Matt Nagy's leaving town is by his own accord. And so if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, what you're hoping for is for some fool's gold of sorts, where the offense thrives this year in spite of Matt Nagy, and some other team sees this offense like, oh, Matt Nagy must be doing something right, and he goes and takes a head coaching job elsewhere. So that's the reality of it. I hope that the offense is good enough this year where they can win and put up a lot of points in spite of Matt Nagy holding this offense back. If he leaves, good riddance. Be honest with me. Our pinned comment today. Is Matt Nagy bad at his job? Y for yes, in for no. I would love to have the type of job security Matt Nagy has, where I'm so bad at my job, but the results are still good enough because everybody else is carrying me, that I'm not on the hot seat by any stretch. Must be nice being Matt Nagy. Type Y for yes, in for no. Let me know if you think Matt Nagy is bad at his job or not. All right, let's talk the bad news of this. This same list named Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, as one of the most likely coordinators to get a head coaching job next year. Here's more from Mo Mott. In recent hiring cycles, older defensive-minded candidates haven't been in vogue. Yet league circles respect Steve Spagnuolo's resume enough to discuss vacancies with him. Early this year, he interviewed for openings with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders, and New York Jets. Spagnuolo's defenses have played a significant role on championship teams with the Giants and the Kansas City Chiefs. In Kansas City, his defenses have ranked within the top 10 in scoring for 5 of the previous 6 seasons. If Spagnuolo pairs himself with an innovative offensive coordinator, he can lead the defense for a well-coached club. His choice in an offensive play caller could make or break his candidacy. Now, unlike Matt Nagy, this would be very sad if Steve Spagnuolo ended up leaving. It would be bad to lose Spags. But he deserves the opportunity. I know that his previous run as a head coach with the St. Louis Rams did not go well. But I think he's proven enough that he deserves the second chance to be a head coach again. Because when we talk about Spags now, he belongs among the all-time greats. Right up there with Dick LeBeau and Bill Belichick when you talk about some of the best defensive coordinators to ever coach this game. He's done that good of a job. And last year, the numbers were pretty solid with what this defense did. Opponents' points per game, 6th in the NFL, just 20.5 points per game. Opponents' yards per game, they were in the top 10, 328.2 yards allowed. Opponents' points per game, 6th in the league at .33. Opponents' fourth down conversion percentage rate, 51.61%. That was 9th best in the NFL. And opponents' touchdowns per game, 2.3, 8th best in the NFL. Here's the reality. Unlike Matt Nagy, Spags would not be easy to replace. Do I need to remind you by a guy by the name of Bob Sutton? Bob Sutton, who was the defensive coordinator before Spags. He was the bane to my existence. I cannot stand that man. I don't know where he is, and I still do not forgive him for costing Patrick Mahomes the Super Bowl in his first season as the Chiefs' full-time starting quarterback because of how bad that defense was. And then you look when they moved on from Bob, how dramatically the defense improved under Spags. Bob was awful. He was atrocious. All right? Great defensive coordinators don't just grow on trees. With that said, I don't blame Spags if he leaves. If he gets the opportunity to be a head coach again, by all means, he should chase that dream and get the chance to go win a Super Bowl with another organization. But with that said, we would certainly miss him and would hate to see him go. So, true or false? This will be Steve Spagnuolo's last season with the Chiefs. Type T for true, F for false. What do you think? Is this the last ride for Spags in Kansas City? Weigh in and let us know. Folks, got a great deal we're offering. Patrick Mahomes jerseys are on sale now with free shipping at chatsports.com/Mahomes. We got the home red, we got the white, we got several different options to choose from. Got some Super Bowl patches as well, men's and women's sizes available. Chatsports.com/Mahomes is where you can get yours. And we also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Go check it out now. Chatsports.com/Mahomes to get yours today. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. It's chatsports.com/Mahomes. You guys know this. I don't have to tell you, but I'll say it anyway. Spags is way more valuable than Matt Nagy. It would be a much more detrimental loss. I think it would be a lot easier to replace Matt Nagy, especially since Matt Nagy's not the play caller of this offense. The good news is for Kansas City, whether they have to replace Matt Nagy or Steve Spagnuolo, people will be lining up to work with Andy. This will be, whether it's the OC job or the DC job, some of the most coveted positions you're going to find in the NFL if they had to open this search and replace one of those two individuals. I think replacing Spags would be much harder than replacing Matt Nagy, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't get a good array of candidate options potentially available. I would argue that being the offensive or defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs is a better job than some head coaching jobs in football. Go look at the New Orleans Saints. They just hired Kellen Moore. Don't you think Kellen Moore's probably regretting, man, wouldn't I have been better off just staying with the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, as their OC, rather than taking maybe the worst job in football right now? Yeah. What about Eric Bieniemy? He was so desperate to try his chance to be a head coach. And he goes off to Washington to be their play caller and OC to prove himself. And now Eric Bieniemy is off the face of the earth, basically. Bieniemy would have been much better off had he just been humble and stayed as the right-hand man to Andy Reid as his offensive coordinator rather than the way his career has gone at this point. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Chiefs TV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right. 2 down, 2 to go. We're halfway home. Up next, we'll talk starting lineup projection. And then we'll do a Q&A rumors mailbag. Get your questions in. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the program. Is Matt Nagy bad at his job? Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in and let us know what you think. Paul says yes. Bill says yes. Let's see. What do we think? Tony says no. Tony is here to defend Matt Nagy. If you don't think Matt Nagy's bad at his job, please tell me why. Because the numbers say otherwise, based on what we saw last year. Mike says yes. What do you guys think? Weigh in. Let me know if you believe Matt Nagy is bad at his job or not. David says yes. Robert says yes as well. Super Chat menu if you'd like to get involved in today's show. Still haven't had a Super Chat yet. I would love to get at least one today. Whoever sends in the first Super Chat, we're going to go crazy, show you some love for being that first Super Chat of the day. First time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5, give you a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, get being boozled. $50, do a beer bong. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute. and take part in today's show. And we certainly would appreciate you guys doing show. Tex, why don't you tell the folks how they can get involved in our mailbag, which is coming up after this next segment here that we'll be doing. We still need plenty of questions, my friend. Tex, what are the instructions? What do people need to know to do?
I got you. So I threw it in the chat a few seconds ago, and I'll do it again because we're going to get a mailbag going here after the third segment. Put it in the chat. Let's see if that. There we go. That's better. Okay. Got a question about the Chiefs? I hope you do, because we need your questions for the mailbag. For the mailbag to be able to start, I should say. Use hashtag Chiefs, a space, and then your question. Right where the or is on the little graphic on screen, that's where you insert your question. There's got to be a space after hashtag Chiefs, which is together. Or you can ask your question, a space, and then hashtag Chiefs together. Or even better than that, if you super chat, I haven't had any super chats. It'd be great if you super chat. We'll prioritize your question if you throw it in the super chat, and we'll put it at the beginning of the mailbag. But please ask your questions about the Chiefs as pertains to the team, free agency, trades, coaching staff, players that you're looking out for, anything related to that. Please ask it. Thank you.
He said please, and thank you. Hashtag Chiefs, super chat. Get on the mailbag. That'll be coming up after this next segment. Up next, starting lineup projection. We will go over the starters for your Kansas City Chiefs of what we think it will look like week one when they take on the LA Chargers. Then we'll get to the mailbag to follow. Use hashtag Chiefs or super chat, and we'll answer those questions coming up on today's show. Let's continue now. Starting lineup projection here on this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Thanks for hanging out here with us. Let's continue with our third segment beginning right now. In no time, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be opening up the season week one in Brazil against the LA Chargers. And you may be wondering who is going to take the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, that's where we come in, folks. Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. And we are going to reveal our starting lineup projection for the Kansas City Chiefs for every position, from offense to defense to special teams. We'll go over everything you need to know coming up in just a matter of moments. The Raiders report, Mitchell Renz, Jeremy Chuggs, those guys love to talk a lot of smack about the Kansas City Chiefs. And Mitch was telling me today, he's like, Tyler, there is no way you guys can get 1,000 comments on a Chiefs video. You guys are going through the motions. You don't care about the offseason. You're not real passionate fans. And I said, Mitch, you are totally reading this wrong. We have the best fans in the NFL. They're fired up for Chiefs football. Prove them wrong, folks. Let's get 1,000 comments today. If we get 1,000 comments spamming KC, I'll shout out whoever spams the most on a later edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Spam KC, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's take a look at the starting lineup, beginning with the offense. Patrick Mahomes will be your QB1 for the Chiefs when they take on the LA Chargers. And I cannot wait to see what Mahomes has in store here for 2025. He's coming in with a lot of motivation. He's trying to prove himself after there's been a lot of doubters that are trying to anoint the likes of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. And I think this is the year that Mahomes takes the bull by the horns. And not only does this Chiefs team win a lot of games, I think we see Mahomes return to an MVP level this season. At running back will be Isaiah Pacheco. And Isaiah Pacheco has a lot to prove this season after a disappointing year in 2024 where he was dealing with injuries and did not look like his old self. He's put on weight. He feels like the Isaiah Pacheco of old here. I think Pacheco is going to have a fantastic season. At the wide receiver spot, Xavier Worthy comes in off of a very solid rookie campaign. He was named the Chiefs Team Rookie of the Year this past year, and we saw his role change a lot in the second half of the year. He became much more significant to the Chiefs' success. I think he builds upon that. And then Rashee Rice. Let's talk about Rashee Rice for a moment. He is fully healthy. He's already ready to go. He looked great prior to the injury last year. I think Rashee Rice is coming back with vengeance. He is playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think this is going to be the best version of Rashee Rice we have seen. I expect him to lead this team in receiving. I think he can be a Pro Bowler, maybe an All-Pro this year. Cannot wait for Rashee Rice to show up and show out and help take this offense to another level. At the tight end spot, Travis Kelce returns. He was a bit not himself last year for the second straight season, with his numbers looking the worst we've seen in quite some time. He's been working extremely hard this offseason to get himself back up to his normal self, and I think you're going to like the results from Travis Kelce. The main thing is he's not going to be the number one target in this passing game. That's going to be Rashee Rice, and that's going to take some pressure off Travis Kelce. Noah Gray also in the starting lineup as well. Noah Gray, breakout season last year. He looked really good. He is quickly becoming, if he isn't already, one of the best number 2 tight ends in all of football. Then at the left tackle spot, this is a change, folks. We are projecting Josh Simmons to be the starting left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, the rookie out of the Ohio State, the number 32 overall pick. I think Josh Simmons, assuming he gets fully healthy, he is going to be the answer that the Chiefs have been looking for a very long time at that left tackle spot that has had a lot of uncertainty. And had he been healthy, he would have been the best offensive lineman in this draft. I think he's going to be a difference maker for the Chiefs. And then at the left guard spot, we will go with Kingsley. I expect this to be quite the competition going on right now, as I don't think that Jalen Moore is going to be your starting left tackle. He could potentially move to the left guard spot. And then you got Mike Caliendo there as well, who started the last few games of the season into the playoffs when they moved Joe Thuney to the left tackle spot. Kingsley is looking the part. But here's where I get nervous about Kingsley, folks, is that at this time a season ago, all Andy Reid was talking about was how good Kingsley looked at the left tackle spot. So I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to Kingsley. The left guard spot should be a more natural position for him. He doesn't have the longest arms. I think that he'll do well, but I'm not fully sold until I see it with my own 4 eyes that I have here. Should Kingsley start at left guard, or should it be somebody else like Jalen Moore or Mike Caliendo be in charge? Tell us on our pinned comment today. Should Kingsley start at left guard? Type Y for yes, in for no, weigh in. Let us know what you think. Wrapping up with the offense now, we turn to the best center in football, Creed Humphrey. I love Creed Humphrey a lot. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I've been a fan of his since his days at Oklahoma. Can't wait to see what Creed is going to do. Creed has been incredibly valuable to this Chiefs team. Trey Smith is back. Hopefully they get a contract worked out here sooner than later. But the main thing is, hey, he showed up for mandatory minicamp. He wants to be here, wants to play for a long time. Can't wait to see what Trey Smith is going to do. Then the right tackle position, Jawan Taylor. There's some real pressure on Jawan Taylor entering 2025. He has had a penalty problem. He has not lived up to the money that he's been paid. This is going to be it for Jawan Taylor. He is not coming back after this season. And if Jawan Taylor cannot put it together, then you might even evaluate your options during the season. Maybe it's Jalen Moore, potentially. And you look at other options here. Jawan Taylor, he needs to shit or get off the pot at this point. I mean, he has got to figure it the hell out, and he's got to figure it out fast. Big year coming for Jawan Taylor. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball now. George Karlaftis returns. Karlaftis, we've seen him look really good at times, but he's been a bit inconsistent. I think this is the year that he steps up and shows why he is one of the best pass rushers in football. Chris Jones is back as well. Chris Jones, I think they're not going to ask as much of him. He is a bit older now. I think that we see more guys rotate in. He plays less snaps, but he still has a tremendous impact. Mike Pennell next to him. I know there's some people doubting Mike Pennell. Hopefully he can step up and have a good year. And then Mike Dana as well at the other defensive end spot. I think this is a big year for George Karlaftis. I think that George Karlaftis, he wants to get paid here pretty soon. And with Chris Jones getting older, you're going to start to see a transition where this defensive line is going to be led by George Karlaftis. And they need their full confidence that George Karlaftis can get the job done watch out for George Karlaftis. We'll go over the rest of the lineup here in a moment, but we want you to whip out those red Chiefs pens and grade the Chiefs starting lineup. A, B, C, D, or F. What do you think of this group entering 2025? Weigh in the comment section and let us know. Folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report as we bring you daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. Live shows each and every Tuesday, interactive Q&A mailbags, and more. Breaking news, all right here in the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Best part about it, 100% free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video, shall we? YouTube.com/ChiefsTV to subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Continuing with the defense, Drew Tranquill at the linebacker position next to Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton got paid a handsome amount of money. I really like Nick Bolton. I would like to see him improve as a coverage linebacker. For now, Jalen Watson is back in a starting role. He was good when he was healthy last year. And Christian Fulton, who they brought over from the LA Chargers, also in a starting role opposite of Jalen Watson. Will the Kansas City Chiefs keep Jalen Watson? I don't know the answer to that question just yet. And Noah Williams, who I'm very high on, he kind of had his struggles in the offseason program. He doesn't look quite ready to step into a starting role. Brett Veach has never paid a homegrown defensive back a contract extension. That will change with Trent McDuffie, who we'll talk about here in just a second. But Watson, could he be on the block now? Could he be traded kind of similar to L'Jarius Sneed of sorts? And then, if they do decide to keep him, do they keep him beyond this year too? Watch out and see when it comes to Jalen Watson. Trent McDuffie moves back to the nickel back position. That makes more sense for Trent McDuffie. That's more of his natural spot. That's where he really excelled his first couple of seasons. I think he'll do a really good job with that. Jaden Hicks, I'm a big fan of. Led this team in interceptions last year as a rookie. I think that Jaden Hicks is going to be fantastic. And then Brian Cook is also back as well at the free safety position. I'm going to tell you, I don't know how many people have been saying this. I might be the loudest person in the room when it comes to Jaden Hicks, but you got to watch out for Jaden Hicks. I think he is going to be fantastic, and I think he's got star potential. I thought he was a steal in last year's draft. You're not going to miss Justin Reed because Jaden Hicks is going to be that dude this season. It's going to be a lot of fun. Who's the best player on the Chiefs' defense? Is it Trent McDuffie? Is it Nick Bolton? Is it Karlaftis? Chris Jones? Who is it? If you had to pick one, who would it be and why? Sound off in the comments and let us know. Folks, we got a great deal we're offering for you. Patrick Mahomes jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/Mahomes. Got the red, got the white, got men's and women's, kids options for you as well. All sorts of different shapes and sizes. Get yours now, chatsports.com/Mahomes. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available. Go see for yourself now, chatsports.com/Mahomes. Wrapping up with the special teams unit here, we find Harrison Butker at the kicker position, America's kicker. Harrison Butker joined alongside Matt Ariza, the punt god. And then one of my favorite Chiefs, my old buddy James Winchester at the long snapper position. Nico should be doing the kick and punt return duties alongside Brashard Smith as well. The special teams unit, there's no cause for concern. There's no issues with this group, and that's the number one thing you're looking for from special teams is don't get in the way. And not only do you have good players, but you have guys that don't get in the way. That's really good if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. If you made it to the end of today's video, you know what that means? You are a real one, a real member of the Chiefs Kingdom. Spam real one in the comments section. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report. There we go. 3 down, 1 to go. Our mailbag is up next, our final segment. Text says we're light on questions. He said please. He said thank you. Grade the Chiefs starting lineup, A, B, C, D, or F. Weigh in, let me know. Paul says A. Richard says A. Paul saying A. Let me know in the chat. I'm putting 2 minutes on the clock. I need at least 3 questions. 3 questions before we start this mailbag. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Let's get as many questions as we can. Don't make me wait. The quicker we can get these questions in, the quicker that we can get to this mailbag segment. So please, Bill, Richard, Paul, David, get your questions in. Don't make me wait. Let's get to it. That way we can wrap up today's show and get on with the rest of our day, my friends. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. I will wait, but please do not make me wait long. Whatever you got on your mind, you want to talk trades, free agency, you want to look ahead to training camp, I'm all ears for whatever is on the mind of the Chiefs Kingdom. Yeah, we got like 2 questions right now, says Tex. Come on now, folks. You guys got to do better than that. Richard, Ronnie, get your questions in. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. We've been nice about it. I'm not asking too much. I want to hear your questions. I want to have you guys on the show. All right? Tony, we haven't discussed that yet. I'll let you know when I know that answer. That's still a long time from now, Tony. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Let us know, and we'll get your questions in. And use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Let's see. Richard says he got one in. David, are you in? Bill, are you in? Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. We'll answer your questions. There we go. Bill, that's not a question. That's a comment. I need a question. Come on, Bill. Bill, give me 3 questions. That's all I need. I need 3 questions. I want to get out of here. I want to go home, folks. Get your questions in. Tex would like to get home, too. He's probably got some hot dinner waiting on him. Come on now, folks. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Get your questions in. And I got 73 people watching. There should be 73 questions waiting for me. Every single one of you needs to give me a question. Whatever's on your mind, free agency, trades, somebody on the roster, you want to talk training camp, I'm all ears. I'm all ears, folks. Use hashtag Chiefs. There we go. There's 2 questions. All right. Give me a couple more, and then we'll be good. Give me a couple more questions. Okay. Yes. Come on, y'all. Tony, I believe you're in the mailbag. Richard's got a question in. Jamar, that's a good question. Why didn't you use hashtag Chiefs? My goodness. Try again, Jamar. Hashtag Chiefs, and I'll include it in the mailbag. Once Jamar gets his in, I will be good to go. It's got to be hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. I don't know how many times I have to tell y'all. It's real simple. The instructions are simple. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Timothy, same damn thing. Hashtag Chiefs. No, Jamar, it's got to be hashtag Chiefs in your comment. Damn it. Paul, that is not a question. Come on. What are you guys doing? Hashtag Chiefs in your question, and we'll answer. I'm waiting on Jamar. Timothy, same thing. Try again, and we'll include it in the mailbag. We go through these instructions every week. When will people learn? I guess the answer is you'll never learn. Come on, guys. Richard says we're acting like Bronco fans. Yeah. It's not a good look. Do we not know how to listen? Come on. There we go, Jamar. There we go. I'll wait on Timothy to get his in right, and then we can start. Once Timothy gets his in, then we can begin the mailbag. All right. Just put in a new pouch. I got a Zone Dragon Fruit. Lock in, yes. Timothy, once you get yours in, I will start. Tony knows how this works. Thank you, Tony. There we go, David. There we go, Tanner. Okay. Now we're good to go. Timothy, again, you did it wrong. Hashtag Chiefs. It's got to be together. Then a space in your question. Come on, Timothy, for the love of God. Please. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go. Here we go. Mailbag time. Let's answer your questions in our final segment here in this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Appreciate y'all spending your Tuesday with us. Let's go ahead and get started right now. It is time to touch our bags and drop our sacks on this mailbag edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. You got questions, you're in luck because I got answers. I've already taken a look at the mailbag a bit. You guys are asking me about Brandon Ayuk, David Njoku, just to name a few. We're talking trades, free agency, training camp, and more here on today's show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our first question from Richard this week. Which team possesses the biggest threat to the Chiefs and why? Well, Richard, I think it's twofold. I think it's two teams. I think it's same two teams that have been the Chiefs' biggest threat the last 2 years in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. And both teams have improved. The Bills, their defense wasn't that great last year. They've added guys like Bosa and others. They should be better there. The Ravens, I like what they did. Eric DeCosta, one of the better GMs in football. You got two elite quarterbacks in Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I think those two teams are the biggest threats, and for different reasons. You look at the Bills, for them it's about the fact that they can go toe-to-toe offensively with the Kansas City Chiefs, playing the Chiefs style, right? And then you got the Ravens, who are aggressive, running the football with Derrick Henry, and that presents some challenges. I think that both those teams would make life difficult in Kansas City. I think the Chiefs are better than both of them, but I still think those are the two teams that stand in their way in the AFC. David writes in, do you think left guard is a bigger issue than left tackle? Yes. Yes, I do, because Josh Simmons appears to be the guy that is on track to be your starting left tackle, and that doesn't even seem like competition at this point. Left guard, we're told that Kingsley is supposed to be the answer and the real deal, but we were sold a bag of goods last year on Kingsley at left tackle and it didn't work out. So I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to Kingsley there. But the silver lining, though, is you can mix and match and do some different things. All right? Simmons is your left tackle for now, but he could potentially play guard if need be. Jalen Moore is a tackle, but he could potentially play guard as well. There is some flexibility here. I think if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, the number one thing you need to do with your offensive line is view this like a basketball team, where you just need to put the best five out there and figure out that combination and go from there. And if you do that, I think you're going to be in good shape, and I expect the offensive line to be improved from what it was last season. Folks, want to make sure not only you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, but that you have your notifications turned on, that you're part of what we call the Noti Gang around here. Those are the folks that are the first to know when we have new content, whether it be a live show, breaking news, new videos. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, hit that Noti bell, and best part about it, it's 100% free. Doesn't cost you a thing. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Subscribe now, turn on notifications. If you're part of that Noti Gang, spam Noti Gang in the comments section, and we'll continue with today's show. All right, a stink. All right, Sam. Fearless later. Could the Chiefs make a trade for Brandon Ayuk? Let's go, Brandon. Is that what you're saying? Let's talk Brandon Ayuk for a moment. Would Brandon Ayuk be tempting because the Niners appear to be shopping him? Yes, Brandon Ayuk is very tempting. But I did not like what I saw at all from Brandon Ayuk last season. Only played in 7 games, had a career low in catches and in targets and in yards and did not get in the end zone one time. I had as many receiving touchdowns as Brandon Ayuk did last year, folks. Brandon Ayuk was awful. Now, was it just one bad season, or is it the start of a trend for Brandon Ayuk? Is he cooked now, potentially? I don't know the answer to that question, but I don't want the Chiefs to be the ones to find out. I think this receiving core is fine. I think that Rashee Rice is going to be great. I can't wait to see what Xavier Worthy does. A healthy Hollywood Brown, Jalen Royals in the mix, Juju there. They are in good shape. They don't need Brandon Ayuk, and they don't need to take a gamble on a guy that had less than 400 yards last year. I'm good. No thanks. Should the Chiefs trade for Brandon Ayuk? Put your GM hat on. Let us know. Type T for trade, P for pass. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in and let us know if they should trade for Ayuk or not. David writes in, how long till the penalty king, JT, gets replaced? Game 3 or Game 4? He's referring to Jawan Taylor, by the way. Jawan Taylor, here's the deal. All right? And this is a tough pill to swallow. Jawan Taylor is being paid a handsome sum of money. And it is hard to justify paying that much money to have a guy riding your bench. I don't see Jawan Taylor getting benched at all this season. Now, if he struggles, then potentially we could have that discussion. But I would be shocked. The only way I see Jawan Taylor getting benched is if he gets hurt and then somebody like Jalen Moore steps in and plays so well that they don't give up the job back to Jawan Taylor. I get as frustrated as anybody when it comes to Jawan Taylor. I do not think Jawan Taylor is a very good football player. I think that Jawan Taylor holds this team back and that he causes more problems than he helps this team. But that contract and what they've paid him, they're going to give him every opportunity. I would be shocked if he's benched by Game 4 unless there's an injury, but we'll see. Pat Strip Game writes in, what about trading for David Njoku? So the Browns have potentially looked at trading Njoku. And Njoku, I remember when Baker was there, he requested a trade. Didn't like playing with Baker, but they still kept him. And Njoku's been solid. You go back to 2023, 81 catches, 882 yards, 6 touchdowns, nearly 11 yards of reception. Last year, he was banged up a bit. Numbers were down a bit, 505 yards, 5 touchdowns, 64 receptions. But for all of y'all that are sitting here and are saying, what about trading for Njoku? What about trading for Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts, all these tight ends? Did we forget about Noah Gray? Did we forget about Jared Wiley here? Jared Wiley hasn't even hardly played. He's coming off that ACL injury. Jared Wiley, I think, has got a higher ceiling than Noah Gray does. I think Jared Wiley has potential to be a star tight end. He reminds me of Travis Kelce. Why is there such this big push from the Chiefs fans, from the media, and others to go trade for a tight end right now? Not to mention Travis Kelce's back. You do not need to trade for another tight end right now. Now, when Kelce retires, and if Jared Wiley doesn't step up, then it will be time to make a trade for a tight end. But right now, I just don't see it necessary, and I think that David Njoku is on the wrong end of his age right now to consider making a trade. Should the Chiefs trade for David Njoku? Sound off in the comments section. Let us know. Y for yes, in for no. Should they make a trade for him? Let me know what you think. Folks, we got a great deal we're offering right now. We got Patrick Mahomes jerseys on sale, the red, the white, got Super Bowl patches, whatever you're feeling, folks. On sale now at chatsports.com/Mahomes with free shipping. Got men's and women's options, kids as well, all sorts of different shapes and sizes for you. Free shipping available, chatsports.com/Mahomes. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Go see for yourself now, chatsports.com/Mahomes. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Jamar writes in, why sleep on running back Rashee Smith? I'm saying the same thing. You're preaching to the choir here, Jamar. I don't know why people are writing off Rashee Smith. I've seen even people talk about that he might get caught before the season begins, which I just think's ludicrous, insane. We had about a 4th or 5th round grade on him, and he slipped to the 7th round. I think he's got potential to maybe someday, not this year, but down the line, be your starting running back. He's a good pass catcher. He's got good speed. He's shifty. I don't understand it why people are sleeping on Brashard Smith. I'm very high on Brashard Smith. I think he's going to be a nice fit. Chiefs running back room is just fine. Pacheco's going to be better. You got Kareem Hunt there, Brashard Smith. Yeah, the running back situation is just fine, Jamar. I'm with you. Tanner writes in, do you think we'll trade anyone during the next season? One name to keep an eye on is Jalen Watson. Watch out to see what the Chiefs potentially do with Jalen Watson. Because Brett Veach does not like to pay homegrown defensive backs. He's going to have to pay Trent McDuffie. Jalen Watson struggled to stay healthy. Jalen Watson would be the name to watch. And you already have his replacement with Noah Williams here, and you might want to try to move on from him now and get something while you can. Jalen Watson, if he's traded, I'd be surprised if it was in season. I think that would be before the season begins, but that's the name to potentially watch, Tanner. David writes in, with the loss of Joe Thuney, will it hurt the inside running game? You know, I love Joe Thuney. I don't disagree with the decision of Brett Veach to trade Joe Thuney. He is on the back end of his career. He was going to command a lot of money, and what's the old adage? You rather move on from a player a year too early than a year too late. And, you know, the inside run game might not be as good, but because the left tackle position is going to be improved, I think that's going to help everything else out. So I see where you're getting at, but I'm not nearly as concerned as what some people may be, David. But I think the inside run game is going to be just fine. Last question, Michael Scott checking in. Hello, Michael. My boss reminds me of Michael Scott sometimes. Will Josh Simmons thrive at left tackle, or will there be some growing pains? Great question. There will be growing pains. It's not going to be an overnight success of Josh Simmons turning into the best left tackle in all of football. These things take time. There will be a process involved here. I think eventually he will thrive. What I'm looking at with Josh Simmons, here's my hope. I hope that he doesn't come out of the gates like Kingsley did last year, where he's still good enough to be your starter, but by the end of the season, we're talking about him being a difference maker. A gradual process here. When we get to the end of 2025, your rookies are no longer rookies. Xavier Worthy's a great example of that last year. That's what I hope for with Josh Simmons, that he's good enough initially, and then he comes along as the year goes, and I think that's a realistic expectation for the Kansas City Chiefs. Appreciate you joining us here. This is edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. All right, folks. We will get out of here. Subscribe to the channel. Continuing coverage all week long. Hope you guys have a great 4th of July weekend. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Same time, same place, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night, everybody. So long.